Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. So it's actually just a short news I want to go through tonight, and that is that Atom, which is a text editor, and of course you can also use it as an IDE, integrated development environment, and it's actually quite cool. But it disappears the 15th of December 2022. Does it matter? Actually not, because there's so many other good editors out there to use. There's VS Code instead, and there's IntelliJ if you want to develop something in Java. VS Code is very good with JavaScript and with HTML, and it's also good for Python, for instance, and a lot of other languages. But Java, I don't like Visual Studio for Java. I have not managed to have a good and efficient setup with Visual Studio Code yet. And I have tried a couple of times to actually set it up, especially if you have something like Lombok, where you have some pre-compiler that you need to enable. Then I think IntelliJ is much better. IntelliJ, on the other hand, is quite bad when it comes to WSL. Some versions actually work quite okay with WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, but I actually think that the newer versions, if you have a new version of WSL, a new version of IntelliJ, then I think it's very, very slow. It starts with indexing all of the JDK files, even though it just indexed all of those files just before, and then if you close IntelliJ and start up again, then it starts indexing once again. So I would definitely recommend that if you use IntelliJ, then do not use WSL. Just run with a pure Windows or pure Mac solution instead. Of course, if you use Mac, then you don't need a WSL. Then you have your Linux system already, of course. So use a clean Windows setup if you're using IntelliJ. And one tool that can actually help you a lot to do this is actually Git Bash. So if you run Git Bash and IntelliJ and set up your project on a Windows instance, then you would actually be happy, and you can actually come very far with Git Bash. And then if you need those special utilities and tools which you've gotten used to with Linux, then run those inside Docker. That's at least what I do. So, okay, but let us read the article, because there's actually a small article behind this news right here. So this is from GitHub. I don't know if you know it, but Microsoft, they bought GitHub some time ago. And in the beginning, actually for around 4 years, they did not. They continued to support both Atom and also VS Code, but now they have this message right here, this blog, where it says that they will actually stop supporting Atom, and they will archive it somewhere the 15th of December 2022. So what should people do instead? What is their suggestions? And they'll say use Microsoft Visual Studio Code, and it's also free. So yes, why not? It's quite good. If you haven't used it, then definitely download and then use it. And then they also say try to use GitHub Codespaces. Yes, you can also do that. What is GitHub Codespaces? It is actually just Visual Studio, just made in a browser, and then in the cloud. So that means that then your editor, your IDE is then in the cloud instead. And I actually wanted to show you just a small demo right here, but I might create another video with that, because if we follow the guide, to how to actually to go and create and use GitHub Codespaces, then there is one thing they don't mention, and that is that you actually have to create. First of all, you have to pay for it, so it's something that you have to pay for, and you also have to create something called an organization with your account, and you have to enable Codespace for that organization. And when you're done with that, then you can open all of your projects in Codespace. I might try that in another video, and then I will try to open up a Java project just to see how bad it actually works with that. I am pretty confident that it will work fine with JavaScript and HTML and React and Vue and stuff. So, but I don't believe that it will work nice with Java. But I'll give it a try, especially if you use IntelliJ, Spring Boot and Lombok. But this is a code spaces right here, and I think there was a pricing somewhere. And they're bragging with all of the languages right there. And one of the things they are bragging about is actually the debugger for Java. And I don't think they should brag about that. I'm not convinced, at least yet. So the other languages are fine. No, the other languages work fine. Python works fine, at least. So I've tried that. Vue is also cool in VS Code, and React is nice, and also Angular is also cool. Everything that there's something to do with JavaScript and HTML just works fine, and it's very responsive. The Visual Studio Code application, so I'm pretty sure that the code space will also be like that. So here you can actually see here's the pricing right here. Depends on how much. How much resource you want? Do you want how many cores? How much RAM? How much memory do you want? And then there's a price per hour right there. I might try it at some point, but that is what they say that you should try instead. Try to use those products instead. Of course, it makes sense. They want to make money, and of course, they do not want to maintain two different editors and IDEs that actually almost do the same. So. Yeah. So what happens next? They are thanking their community, and as you probably know, then Atom is from 2014. Of course, it's like eight good years, right? So you might have grown used to Atom, and yeah, but now it's no longer there. So that's how it is. I don't think it's a huge problem, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. There are also other editors like Emacs. It's also a very, very famous editor. Of course, there's VI and Vim, so there's a lot of opportunities, right? A lot of possibilities. Here, this is the Emacs, and then we have the Vim editor. And this is where people are joking that they don't know how to actually exit the Vim. There's a joke that says, I've been using VI for 10 years because I don't know how to exit it, right? So. That was not what I wanted to press right here. Let me just see here. Vim editor. Yeah, it's also VI, yeah, but that's actually fine. So that's actually just what I wanted to tell you. If you haven't already heard that news that Atom is being discontinued, then yeah, now you know. And if you haven't tried out VS Code yet, then definitely try it out. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.